Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it. Hotline is the number if you'd like to be part of the program, your opportunity to be a voice. By the way, we're going to visit with a pollster probably coming out of the 1045 break, dealing with the governor's race and the new people in it and things of that nature. So we'll get his take on governor's race, what's going on. So we'll get to that as the program unfolds in just next break. Coming on next break. Hopefully they'll be on air with us. All right, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. You've been talking about the folks. This may not mean much to you, but it does mean a lot. I mean, you got the Speaker of the House getting blasted by the pro-Edwards press, and this is what's going to continue all the way through next election. Okay. They've taken the claim that this extra money coming is because the economy is picking up, and they're running around with the GDP, which they wouldn't talk about for 2.5 years, by the way. So I'm not sure about that either. I'm just letting you know that Mr. Barra has a right to vote the way he voted. It was set up that if 4 people didn't agree to recognize money, they wouldn't recognize it. Why did they have that agreement? Okay? The agreement's there for a reason. So what happens is now we get headlines and things like Jay Darden had to school Barra because he was telling him, y'all agreed that if we had extra money left over, we got to recognize it first. You had to recognize it first. And the thing about it is they wouldn't recognize. And they wouldn't recognize because one guy said, I'm not sure about this money. And the thing about it is what they do, and this is how they play on the emotions of people, the national press is good at it too. They're stopping building a juvenile center. They're stopping teachers' pay raises. This one man. Abuse of power. They call it abuse. This is right out the national media playbook for Trump. Taylor Barra, abuse of power, created a new... What abuse of power? The REC is made up of the people I told you. Administrator from the governor's office. In this case, the great legendary Jay Darden. They put in an economist. Jim Richardson been sitting on it for 30 years since it started. The Senate president, who happens to be the great one, John Alario, that great leader that's leading us to fame and fortune in Louisiana. And then the Speaker of the House, which happens to be Taylor Barra at this time. Just think how bad it would be if Barra was not the speaker and they would have put the guy from New Orleans in there. How bad this would be. Man, they'd be passing. We wouldn't have $7 billion in new taxes. We'd have $30 billion in new taxes. Taylor Barra, how is it abuse? Brandon, maybe you can help me. You got 4 people. It's got to be a unanimous decision. And one of them says, no, I don't see there's a problem. And one of them, Richardson, who's the economist, and I guarantee if you grabbed him privately, you're going to say, they pushing me on this. They pushing me on this. They want me to come up with some numbers. I don't know. And they put so much pressure on him, and he hesitated. I was told this by 2 other people that were in the office, and this man just froze. He didn't even want to answer yes. And John Alario looked at him and said, are you going to vote? Because he didn't want to vote that way. My gut feeling is he did not want to vote that way. He did not want to vote that way because the pressure from the governor. And then what happens, the press gets with the Jay Dardens and, hey, what can we do? Well, look, here's what you do. You got to pound Barra. And you got to bring up the juvenile justice. We're not going to be able to build this. And bring up teacher pay raise. Boy, that'll get people mad at Barra. Forget the truth. He did not abuse the power. There was no abuse here. There was never abuse by Barra. Barra did his job. If he'd have voted for him, he wouldn't abuse then. Everybody's happy. Because why? We get to spend $200 million more. And this is what it's all about. Spending money buys votes. What they do is they turn it around and throw it on Barra. Well, Barra's in the Republican Party, and they've been trying to beat Edwards. We've been hearing that crap for 3 years now. Hey, but the political side they won't talk about is what the press and Edwards and Darden them are doing. That political side of it, the money is to buy more votes. Teacher pay raises to buy votes. That's what this is. This is all about buying votes. Let me tell you something. When you got plenty of money in state government in Louisiana, you can buy a lot of votes. You can purchase a lot of votes. This is all they're doing. Yet the guy that's not abusing hadn't abused anything. Matter of fact, if you get Taylor Barra's side of the story, and he did that the other day when we were in Alexandria on Tuesday, he gave his side of the story. There's a whole other side, but the press is not writing about that side. They would rather write stuff, J. Darden schooled him. J. Darden didn't school anybody. Didn't school anybody. J. Darden is part of the problem. He's part of the status quo. He's been part of the status quo. He's been there 30 years. He hasn't fixed anything. And that's one with the great John Alario, and they make sure to put Republican John Alario. The one that they tried to wipe out. The Republican Party tried to wipe out it. Bobby Jindal let him get a running start to be Senate president. It's just amazing how they won't cover anything like it needs to be covered. The REC's rules are very simple. Either all four of them say, yes, we recognize this money. If one of them doesn't say it, boom, then we don't move. Okay? Now, if they want to change the REC rules that 3 out of 4 got to do it, then change the rules. But the rules don't make it abusive. What did Taylor Barra do to speak it out? Did he follow the rules? What rule did he break? What did he abuse? They come up and say, well, J. Darden schooled him that we only recognize the money. We don't spend it. I tell you what, Jay, you might not spend it, but every story I'm reading is teachers' pay raise and juvenile beds. And what you mean you don't spend it? Why is that being brought into it then? Why is the spending of the money being brought into it? Because they cut a deal with the legislature that if they recognize more money, here's what we're going to do. Well, hold up. The REC shouldn't recognize what they're going to do with the money, but Darden and Edwards and Alario and the press is all bringing up what they're going to spend this money on. It's just the hypocrisy of the left and the media and what's going on in the state of Louisiana. You call this a state that's run very well because Edwards is there? Things have changed? What's changed? Brandon, tell me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure David Calicott still hadn't called, but the whole 3 years Edwards been in office, all we did is raise taxes and scare the hell out of old people, hospitals, nursing homes, tops.
Don't forget about LSU.
Don't forget we were not going to have LSU football. I mean, but see, to the advocate and to these people, that's not politics, folks. He's dealing with the reality if we don't get the money in the real. And I told Calicott sitting right here, please come back once you get your money. We don't hear from him anymore. But, boy, he's here when he wants his money, begging for his money. But, boy, when he gets it, not a word. Not a single word. That's frustrating. Anyway, Barra hadn't abused anything. By the way, I cannot wait. Brandon, you know I can't. I cannot wait to be on WJBO from 2 to 4 on Saturday. By the way, guess who one of my guests is? Taylor Barra. Can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun to tell the truth to people who are not getting the truth by reading the Morning Advocate. All right, we'll take a break. Hopefully, Remington Research will be on with us about a new poll. All right, we'll take a break. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. Special guest right now, Mr. Titus Bond. He's with the Remington Research out of Kansas City, Missouri. A nationally recognized polling firm. Did clients like Ted Cruz, Mitt Romney, and the National Republican Senatorial Committee. And he's out with a poll here in Louisiana. Titus, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Moon?
I'm doing superb, man. Well, look, give me a general deal of the poll, and I'll ask some specifics based on what I got and what you put out. But just generally about the poll, and it's a lot about the governor's race and the governor tracking and things like that.
Sure. So this is the fourth survey we've actually conducted in Louisiana in the past 4 months on the governor's race. As we've been looking at the different moving parts of the race. This is the first survey that's been conducted since John Kennedy indicated he would not be running for governor.
Okay.
So a lot of the data here is going to be very compelling, and it's probably it's the first survey basically that shows a realistic picture of the race without Kennedy on the ballot in the survey. So the first takeaway mainly is in these political surveys, we ask likely voters what their opinion is of certain political candidates or figures. So we ask, what is your opinion of John Bel Edwards, the governor? And he's only and then the responses are either favorable, unfavorable, or no opinion. John Bel Edwards right now is only at a 46% favorable rating. So 4 points below 50, which is 50% on your image, which is the favorable, unfavorable. 50% is kind of the magic mark you need to get to win re-elect as a first-term incumbent. So we've conducted over almost 1,000 surveys in the 2018 election cycle. And all these Republicans that lost all around the country, all of their images, all of their favorable ratings, they teetered between 44 and 48%. So there were a ton of close congressional races this cycle. And it's because those incumbents couldn't get over that 50% mark to guarantee a victory in the election. So John Bel Edwards is very vulnerable.
Oh, absolutely.
I believe there's multiple other public polling. There's private polling I've seen that kind of mirrors this fact that he's a very vulnerable incumbent Democrat in a southern pro-Trump state. So that's the first major component, that the survey shows us. The second big component that it shows us is that since Kennedy dropped out of the race, that Congressman Ralph Abraham has taken all of that support. Mm-hmm. So before we had a race where it was John Kennedy. If he ran, he was going to be make the runoff. But now that it's changed, where he dropped out, Ralph Abraham is now, kind of the probable, 95% likely going to be the Republican against John Bel Edwards. Mm-hmm. So it's just this far, we're about 10 months away from Election Day. We've got John Bel Edwards on a three-way ballot with another Republican at 43%, and Ralph Abraham taking in 31% of the vote, which is 22 points ahead of the next best Republican. And that's just a huge lead this late in the game. It's going to take millions and millions and millions of dollars in order to whittle away at that lead.
The thing I noticed, too, is that I noticed this in other polls, Edwards is at 43, 44, 45%. And that's about what a Democrat's going to get in this state, 46 down. So I think what you're seeing is everything he's going to get. I really believe that. And we're already seeing it here, Titus, because the press has all started in beating whoever got in the way. They were all geared up to go against Kennedy, and Kennedy's out. So we don't worry about John. John's a senator. We're glad for him. He stays there. So we're already watching them panic. Right when Risponi came out, they didn't say a whole lot, but nobody knows Eddie yet, and I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt. But when Abraham came out, Edwards and the Democrat tripped out. They just freaked out, and I'm going, why y'all freaking out? Because they were pouring Gatorade the day before or 2 days before when Kennedy announced he wasn't running. They were giving him a Gatorade bath. And by the way, I wouldn't ever put Gatorade over somebody until I know you won the game. So now all of a sudden they get dry the man off, tell him to take a shower, because we don't have a clue about Abraham yet, or they don't have a clue about the other guy, Risponi. So I just think it's amazing. Every poll I'm seeing, they got him at that 43, 44% deal. It's always that, but you're sitting governor, and that's where you are. That's not good.
Yeah, and it's not good right now for him because he has a lot. He's got a tough road to navigate here. We asked the question of Democrats, are you definitely voting for John Bel Edwards, or would you consider voting for another Democratic candidate? Definitely John Bel Edwards is only 53% of the Democratic pool of voters. So he has work to do. He's going to have to play a balancing act. He's going to have to go out. He's going to have to do something with Trump in a pro-Trump state, while at the same time getting his voters in line. So he's going to have to appeal to liberal progressives on one hand, while at the same time trying to show conservative Democrats and conservative independents that he is supportive of the president, which is, that's going to be a tough task to complete. So
we think Titus Bond, of course, my special guest, and He is with the Remington Research, and it's a polling unit, and of course they're very well respected. They down here polling in the governor's race for next year, and he's giving us some numbers and kind of where he's reading it. By the way, you mentioned about the Democrat Party. I noticed on the ID, 53% are definitely voting for him in the Democrat Party. I mean, I wouldn't jump up and down about those numbers. That's not really good. And if you got to run pro-Trump stuff, you might alienate a lot of the liberal voting machine that's supporting you.
That's right. And, you have a well-defined, well-known governor. People know who he is, and for his own party not to be supportive of him has to be concerning to the people in the back room for him. And then, on the other hand, you've got a Ralph Abraham or Republican candidates that aren't as well-defined statewide. So they're sitting right now at their basement where John Bel Edwards might be sitting at his ceiling. So, you might have an opposite of, tracking going on throughout the course of this where John Bel Edwards is going down while Republicans going up. And, in a head-to-head race between John Bel Edwards and Ralph Abraham, right now, if the election were held today, it's 44-44.
And by the way,
if you have that,
go ahead.
If you have that reverse track going, it could become ugly for John Bel Edwards in November.
Well, think about this, though. Ralph Abraham's starting to get name recognition, but he doesn't have the name recognition he's going to have in 7, 8, 9, 10 months. Not even close. It's going to be tremendous. Right. Even the other candidate may as well. The other Republican candidate may as well. But what I'm saying is they will have some name recognition out there. And you're going to get that. And and I'm just telling you what's going on down right here. Y'all see the press. I mean, you get in the way of the governor, they blast you. Of course, being a nice guy, Titus, I'm right there to protect him as best I can. Being a nice guy and all that stuff.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I really think the governor's at his max. And I know anything can happen in 10 months, but it can also go against you, too. You know what I'm saying? They can say what they want to. It can go against you as much as it can go for you. And that's why I was curious when I saw these numbers. The Democrats only 53% definitely voting Edwards. That's got to be numbers that make them nervous. I really believe that. And by the way, they were running advertisement. The Gumbo PAC, which is Edwards' law firm, I'm not law firm, his lawyer buddies running the PAC. They had started on advertisement against Kennedy this past November with an election being next October and a runoff in November. So that told you a lot about what they were going to do and how bad they thought they were at the time.
Yeah, you've got, I think you're going to see a lot of money spent down there. You've got John Bel Edwards is going to be playing to two different audiences and trying to do it simultaneously, which is very, very difficult in especially in an off-year election with, very, very hard voters. And you have a Democratic Party that's going more liberal by the day, and that's putting putting a lot of these
Titus,
that want to be moderates in a tough spot.
Yeah, before I let you go, the head of the Democrat Party, Karen Carter-Peterson, said we need to get rid of the Second Amendment. That's in his party. That's what she said. So anyway, listen, we got to run, sir.
Yeah, deal with that.
Titus, we'll do it again. God bless. Thank you here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show on time as usual. Ready to rock and roll. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Trump never directed Cohen to break the law. By the way, Cohen didn't break the law. But doing what he's doing, I'd let that go, man. Just let it go. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline.
While you were out, they just broke also that a judge has ordered Mueller to surrender all documents related to the questioning of Michael Flynn.
Brandon, God's good, and if justice is really real, they're really, really open what's really going on here, which is the massacre of Donald Trump by the press, by Mueller and the rest of them. Just the massacre of the blue state. And it's going to cause other people not to get involved. It is really criminal what they're doing to that man. I've never seen anything like it. And I got rear ends, and I'm being nice, emailing me all the time. Trump's a liar. And they were big Obama people. Obama never lied. Obama never got this happen. No, if you're part of the system, they don't throw you out the bus. If you're not part of the system, they do. Anyway, we get to all that, some other stuff going on. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. I do want to mention one of our new advertisers, and I appreciate people. I love family-owned businesses. This was a family-owned This is a family-owned and operated company committed to building high-quality and affordable custom homes. That I'm talking about Schumacher Homes, America's largest custom home builder. 3 great locations in Louisiana: Baton Rouge, Shreveport, and Lafayette. Look, you want somebody who can do it and can do it right. You want somebody who's going to be there for you. You want a Louisiana business that does what they say they're going to do. And these people pretty much guarantee what they're going to do. It National Housing Quality Award-winning company, highest recognition in home building industry. Built over 18,000 homes. Paul Schumacher started it in 1992. They've been building homes in Louisiana for over a decade. No 2 Schumacher homes are exactly alike. The guy that built my home, and he did a really good job building my house, is now one of the guys that really works to help build homes now. So that's a good news for you. Each Schumacher Homes located in Louisiana include one-stop shopping design. So you can go in these studios and go to these places and look at what you're going to build and work from the ground up. Go to SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com. They provide a free, no-obligation price quote that allows the customers to know the total price of their home with no hidden costs or surprises. Now, you try to get that in today's world and building a home. It's hard to do. Schumacher says we can do it. And, folks, this is a good family business. Their name is on the line, and they've been doing this for a long time. So why not start with Schumacher Homes if you want to build a home and let them get you taken care of. SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com. That's SchumacherHomes.com. All righty. Just going back, appreciate the Pollster calling in. We got this late breaking. Folks, every poll I've ever seen, I don't always share them because I can't. But every poll I've seen, and I've been telling y'all this for a long time with Edwards being a one-termer, I'm already seeing the panic in the press. Every time they write a story about any Republican leader, okay, any time they blast a Republican leader, in this case, they blasted Cameron Henry. Now, Taylor Barra is abuse of power. They're putting this in Baton Rouge for everybody to read it. There was no abuse of power. The abuse of power was by the media, who is now in the national level and in Baton Rouge taking sides because they like a candidate or beating the hell out of somebody because they don't. That's abuse of power. That's abuse of the First Amendment. He hadn't abused anything. But what you're seeing is every time they write an article, they say, well, this is all political. This is all political. Why do they do that? Because they want you to think it's political from one side when really the politics is being played from the Bell Edwards side and the media side. They stay in political mode. And I told y'all, when you get within the year, watch how ugly this is going to get, and it's starting to get ugly, and they can't handle it. So there's nothing wrong what Taylor Barra did. A couple other things. State going in the right or wrong direction from the same Pollster, Remington poll. By the way, this poll was based December 11th through the 12th, just done. 1,680 likely voters participated in the survey. 2.4% plus or minus error. Let's see. State going the right direction or wrong direction? Wrong direction, 43%. Right direction, 42%. Donald Trump's favorability in this poll is in the high 50s. The other poll is in the 60s. Favorable rating for John Bell Edwards is 46%. You start putting him up against somebody, he stays in the 43, 44%. This is not good for any incumbent. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, black, white, green, or yellow. This is not good. And this is what people need to hope and put their hope in, is that we're going to have somebody who's going to love this state and turn this into a business mecca for our people, for the people who want to work, for the people they're not sitting back waiting for the state government to hand them something. That's what we need. You know, somebody like Mr. Abraham Rasponi, some of these guys that have not been in Baton Rouge, not part of the system, is what we need. We need something new. Like I said, go enjoy your Christmas break. There's a lot of things breaking right now that you don't know. They know it. Why do you think Gumbo Pack, that's the lawsuit crazy people that are protecting Edwards and going to go after anybody that gets in the way, trial lawyers, and these trial lawyers started running advertisement on John Kennedy the weekend he decided not to run. They had a poll released that had Kennedy at 49 and Bill Edwards at 45. This poll has him at 43. 43, 44%, 43, 44, 45. You see that, folks, that's ways, that's, unless they can convince you all, they're going to try to convince you all these Republicans are voting for Bill Edwards. And I told you before, there's always been Republicans vote Democrat and Democrats vote Republican. Always, in every poll. Because it depends on who's running. You know? And so, we got a race. And I'm hope I'm right in the thick of it, showing you and telling you things, because if you're reading the Advocate, or you're reading the Times-Picayune, or you're reading the Gannett paper, or you pick up a Jim Beam piece, you can forget the truth being in there. It's going to be 100%. How can we beat up a Republican and help John Edwards win? And they know it, and I've been saying it for 3 years. He's a one-termer. I'm sticking with it, and if he wins, I'll come on the program and just say, you know what, if this is what the people want, then this is what we got. But I feel confident that the state of Louisiana does not want this much liberalism running the government. And I wish within the Republican Party they had not done what they've done with all those taxes. They embarrass us most of the time when they vote for all these taxes. And I love how Jim Beam says Bobby Jindal left us with a $2 billion budget deficit, which, by the way, doesn't lie. But when Mr. Edwards, Governor Edwards, recommends and pushes all these taxes by buying all these votes, he said he didn't vote for none of those taxes. That was the legislature that voted for that. It just flip, hypocrite, flip, hypocrite. That's what they do. That's who they are. This poll is showing everything that I've been seeing privately from different people, from people around the country. They're excited about the election in Louisiana. It's going to be a big election with a lot of money. They're excited about what's going to happen. If Edwards keeps asking, are you better off than you were 3 years ago, I wonder if he's going to ask the people that aren't working here but still live here. Because that question, it can only be answered this way. If you're in state government, you're better off than you were 3 years ago. Absolutely you are. The state's not. The economy's not. People's businesses and jobs are not better off. But the state government's better off, because if you increase $6-7 billion in new taxes, you're going to have more money. You realize not one thing's changed, not one thing has been fixed. So I want people to be pumped up and ready to roll next year, because I told you this is going to be a race. We don't even know if this is all the candidates in it. We don't even know that. But here's what I do know. The first time a Republican turns on another Republican, I hope every one of us just eliminate them. I hope we smash them back politically, because you don't need that. You don't need that. The co-governorship needs to be stripped. The Darden-Edwards co-governorship needs to go. And then if John Alario and Francis Thompson would go home, we would have a chance to change this state. If they would go home and get the heck out of politics, we would have a chance to change this state. All right, folks, that'll wrap that up. We got more to come. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hey, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, your opportunity to be a voice. Folks, I didn't think we'd ever see this, but new ways to tax. California wants to tax text messaging. Brandon, this is definitely one for y'all. State regulators say surcharge on text messaging would help fund programs that make phone services accessible to the poor. Brandon, we already give away free cell phones. There's a free cell phone program out there Obama started. I had somebody mad at me one time. They sent a picture of about 12 they had. And it said, say what you want to, I'm getting mine. They were so proud of the free cell phones that they didn't have to work for them. Anyway, texting. Can you imagine? Brandon, I don't know what I text more than I talk. It's no doubt about it. I know Brandon's going, nobody texts us more than you talk. But the state regulators have been getting up a scheme to charge a fee for text messaging on mobile phones to help support programs that make phone service accessible to the poor. So see, folks, if you and me would just keep paying more taxes on more things, and more people who don't want to go to work, who don't produce, can keep getting things without going to work or producing anything. The wireless industry and business groups have been working to defeat the proposal from the California Public Utilities Commission. It's a dumb idea, said the president of Bay Area Council Business Sponsored Advocacy Group. This is how conversations take place in this day and age, and it's almost like saying should be a tax on conversation we have. That's exactly what they're saying. They may want a tax per letter that comes out of your mouth one day, or per letter on your text message. This is where we're going. This is where we're going in the country. We come up with new ways to get money out of people's pockets. This is pitiful, but this is California. People say, well, they'll never come here. Yeah, right. Things do move this way. They move down from New York and over from the West Coast until we decide that's a great idea. And so I'm just thinking, what about a text message tax? Or should I be saying that with Bill Edwards and them listening? I ain't seen a tax yet he didn't love. I haven't seen one he hadn't just totally loved. So, anyway, Iran hackers trying to break into emails of the U.S. Treasury Department officials. That's what they're reporting anyway. So that's another text. Rahm Emanuel said never let a crisis go to waste. Wants to legalize pot and open casinos, Brandon, to pay down the cities, just the city. Our state's pension debt is about $21 billion. Chicago, the city of Chicago's pension debt is $28 billion. Folks, this is, by the way, pensions all over the country are like that. I was in deep trouble. I know you folks in the retirement system get these letters that I was in good shape. That's not true. I'm being honest with you, it's not true. I don't care who you are, it's not true. All of them in trouble. They're all in trouble. I don't care what they wrote to you. They're all in trouble. The good thing about the state of Louisiana, if you're in the pension, is it's guaranteed by the Constitution. They will pay that before they pay anything else. That's your guarantee that you're going to get your money. Not because you have money, because in 2029, we're going to be $29 billion in the hole. Because we have no governors that ever addressed this. Our governor raised almost $7 billion in taxes, and he didn't address this problem whatsoever dealing with pensions. And this pension problem in the state of Louisiana is as serious here as it is in Chicago or any other state for that matter. It is a problem. And this is what you do. You start turning to say, well, let's have casinos. Let's legalize marijuana. Well, then why don't they legalize prostitution? Because I can promise you, dealing with sex, there's a lot of people would like to take advantage of that, and they don't. But that's what they'll do next. They'll do something like that next because it's all about the money. It's not about reality and deal. They don't want to change the policies in Chicago, just like we don't want to change the policies in Louisiana. So what you do is you come up with more creative ways to create taxes to keep everything going as it is. That's why I would bail out. And I told the governor, he didn't change one thing. He's a failed governor just like the rest of them because he's doing the same thing. What's the big changes Jay Dawden's trying to do? He's not. John Alario, the great leader, none of them. They're not changing anything. And Rahm Emanuel is not changing anything, the mayor of Chicago. He's just trying to figure out another way to get more money out of people's pockets. Okay? And by the way, there'd be no guarantee they would put them on that anyway. We had stuff done that was going to take care of our pensions. I remember back when Mike Foster, John Kennedy on TV. Back in the Mike Foster days, they were going to change something. That money never got to the shoring up our pensions. Not at all. Just like the road tax. They don't go to fix roads. So what we do, raise some more road taxes. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back. More of the Moon Griffon Show. Don't go anywhere. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. Trump cancels White House Christmas party for the press. By the way, they're mad at it. They mad. Brandon, if you had the relationship Trump has with the press, why would you have a Christmas party with them?
You know,
and it's tradition. I know it's tradition.
No, I'm not. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like I would rather him cancel a Christmas party with people that he doesn't get along with than be fake and go and try to have fun with these people. Or do what he did last year where he just went out where normally the president will go out for a while, meet and greet with people, him and the first lady. He went out last year, gave him a welcome, and that was pretty much it because of the tense relationship between the two. Cancel the Christmas party with them. If they want to be at odds with each other, then just don't go out there and fake it.
Could you imagine going somewhere that you didn't want to go or want to be?
No.
By the way, journalists who attended the event were featured a catered buffet of lamb chops, crab claws, hell, John O'Leary might be there. Crab stew, elaborate desserts. Got to roam the decorated mansion with a spouse or other family member and friend and colleague, adding to the invitation allure. But the biggest fringe benefit was picture-taking sessions, in which the president and first lady would patiently pose with guests and briefly chat with them in front of the Christmas tree. Why in the heck would you do that with these bunch of losers? God have mercy. Gee, I'd have never went to the first one. This would take a couple-hour-long line snacking across the building at first floor. Bill Clinton even posed for pictures with journalists days after he was impeached. Trump, that's smart. Another smart move by Trump. I wouldn't have none of them all-day suckers over there. Let's go to Brad in Bossier City. Brad, how you doing? Welcome to the Moon Griffon Show.
Hey, all right. How you doing, Moon?
I'm doing great.
All right. I just wanted to bring up this congressional slush fund with the hush money that they paid out using our tax dollars to supposedly do the same thing that Trump did with his own money. You know, where's the call for transparency? You know.
By the way, let me tell you, that's been going on a long time, and they use your money and mine to pay something sleazy, $17 million worth. Nobody ever said a word. You see, Trump, no, in some areas probably no different than them, but they hate him. So you got to bring him down.
Oh yeah,
but you can't bring Schumer down for allowing that to go, man. You can't bring Pelosi for allowing that to take place. No, just Trump, because Trump's not part of that vicious, evil cycle that's going on in the deep state right now.
That's right. I mean, what's more criminal, them using our tax dollars to pay off these agreements, or Trump using his own money? You know,
well, I got to tell you,
hypocrisy.
And I think you're going to agree with me. What Trump did, it was not illegal. What they did has to be illegal. How in the world can anybody spend money like that? Our money, and that's legal. I don't understand it. I don't think you do either.
No accountability, no transparency. But the mainstream media, everybody just looks the other way as usual. The double standard in D.C.
As a matter of fact, if all day long, just asking you, all day long they ran on CNN about spending the money, and they investigated the abuse, and they investigated the abuse by the congressman. And they hunted every congressman down. Then they hunted every woman or man down that knew about it. And they did all this investigation. Right. And just think how bad that would look for them. But they don't do that, do they? Because their name's not Donald. Their name's not Donald Trump.
And me personally, I don't care if it's Democrats, Republicans, whoever, dipped into this money. They all need to come out and let us know. That's our money they're spending.
Well,
I don't care which party it was.
Let me tell you what's even sadder, or just as sad. We don't even get to know the names of the people and what happened. They don't tell us any of that. So, they don't want you to know that it was them. And they think that's good government, and they think that's morally accepted, and they think that's godly. Think about that. We don't get to find out anything about it yet. It's our tax dollars.
And they're making a big deal about Trump using his own money and trying to make that criminal. I say if they try to impeach him over it, he should somehow release those numbers in the list of people that use that money.
I think there's a lot more to come. I think we still need to stay patient. My prayer is that what needs to be exposed is what's really going on behind the scenes, and that's what needs to happen.
Well, I think it's all going to work out for the good, but it's just going to take time. And if the Republicans in the Senate, they need to get investigations going against the other side, because there's a lot of bad happening over there, but the media totally looks the other way. I'm watching it in Baton Rouge. I'm watching it every day. So anyway, I got to run. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Jody in Lafayette. How you doing, Jody?
Como ça va, Moon?
And Frank Sinatra to you, too.
Listen, man, I just started listening to you. I just got in my truck. But if they want to do some investigations, I don't know if you remember this, but several years ago they exposed House members and Senate members like they have their own banking system that they can borrow money from.
Well, no, that was years. Man, that was a long time ago, but I remember that. A long
time ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I said years ago, never heard nothing else about that. So if you want to start an investigation, let's see who owes money, who's left and never paid the money, and also let's see which senators and congressmen are getting kickbacks on government contracts through their cronies who are helping.
Could you imagine?
Let's do an investigation on that.
Let me ask you a question. Do you imagine them investigating Barack Obama and his past and everything he's done and everything he said and the people that he was associated with, like Louis Farrakhan, who was leading Cheers of Iran, death to America? Okay? Mm-hmm. Could you imagine? I mean, Jamie Mayo, the mayor of Monroe, he gave 2 keys to Louis Farrakhan, not 1, 2. He's a sitting mayor in the state of Louisiana, in Monroe, Louisiana. He gave 2 to Louis Farrakhan. So could you imagine if they did an investigation with the Clintons and they were allowed to get all the lawyers that hated the Clintons or hated Obama? And you could go find out so much stuff on these guys. It's not even from Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. Could you imagine the people they can call up and witnesses for what these people have done? It would be unbelievable.
I got one more for you. You remember seeing a documentary on military waste and how we would pay $250 for toilet seats and outrageous prices for hammers and stuff?
Actually,
let's follow the paper trail on that and see who it goes back to, who the kickbacks go to.
Oh, I think there's so much you can do. It's not even funny.
That's all I wanted to say.
All right, appreciate the call. By the way, Brian, you'll love this. Middle schooler forced to change Trump name after years of relentless bullying. Daily torment of 11-year-old kid. Yeah. Now, where did they get that from? News media and their parents. It's gotten so bad the child's parents changed his last name to thwart his bullies. He said he hates himself, he hates his last name, and he feels sad all the time and doesn't want to live feeling like that anymore. Joshua Trump. Problem started in elementary school when the 45th president announced that he was a candidate, but the boy's parents thought things might be different in middle school. He was being ridiculed and bullied for the fact that his last name was Trump. Wonder what kind of school he goes to. I really was in somewhere in, by the way, they're not Tally Middle School. I'm trying to find out which state this is in. But, Brandon, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Where do these kids get this from? I'll tell you what they get it. They get it from the news media and the adult. Mm-hmm. Trump-supporting students were ridiculed by a biology teacher at McNeil High School in Round Rock, Texas, in August. So, matter of fact, Trump is popular, really.
Yep.
Consider what they did to Donald Trump so far. And the guy's popularity still has a 46% approval number. All right, one more.
Wait, before that,
yeah, go ahead.
We got to cheer people up after you gave that story because that's pretty sad. I think this bit of audio will cheer you and our listeners up.
I leave here grateful and optimistic. I will always treasure the friendships that began here and the kindnesses shown to me and my family by all of you, my colleagues.
Old Jeff Flake saying goodbye to the Senate.
And let me tell you what, get the hell out, Jeff. I'm happy. Hey, I'm happy for Jeff that he's leaving.
Yeah.
Just pray to God he doesn't. I hope he runs for president. Maybe him and Mitch Landrieu will face off in a runoff.
Well, maybe they could run together.
Hey, why not?
They could tag team.
We got a statewide official talking about running with a Democrat ticket. Let's take a break. I'll tell you, we need to take a call.
Let's get
one more. Derek and Blanchard. How you doing, Derek?
Moon, it's great to talk to you. I'm kind of nervous because you're one of my heroes.
Boy, how low is the bar, dude?
Oh, it's high. And I have to tell you, my youngest son is 12, and he's autistic. And every time on Thanksgiving, the giving break or Christmas break at 9 o'clock, he has to listen to you.
Oh my God.
He loves you to death, man. But also, yesterday I was at the doctor's office, and I had the chance to sit and visit with the great Jim McCrary.
Yeah.
And Jim, he thinks the world of you. And in closing, my granddad, the 70s and 80s and early 90s, I believe, was mayor of Natchitoches.
Uh-huh.
and my granddaddy thought the world of you as well.
Well, tell you what, it goes to prove I can fool a few people. But Derek, you made my day, brother. God bless you. And I'm humbled that your family is so fond of me. I appreciate it.
But Moon, to you and your staff and your family and your daughter, the Merry Christmas and God bless y'all.
All right. Same thing, man. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it, Derek. Thank you. All right. Let me wipe the tears from my eyes. All right, we got to take a break. Wow, one segment to go. You're welcome to be a part of it. We got to take a break. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. Could you imagine? Having a Christmas party with the press? I can't believe he did that. Brandon, he did that the first year. But he did not do it this year, and he's not going to do it this year, President Trump, and I wouldn't either. I mean, why would you go? Be like you, me and you hate each other. Okay, just can't stand each other. And I can't wait for you to tell a wife, and I tell my wife that, hey, we're going to eat with the Comos, and the Comos are going to eat with the Griffons, and we're going to Thanksgiving meal or going to a party together. And Trump should have been cut. He went one time, and he sees what these people are doing to him. Everybody does. The problem is you got people on the left that loves hate. It's such a hateful group of people in the media and Democrats. They're such hateful people. Anybody that kill a baby and brag about it, like an abortion, something's wrong. Something's wrong with the way you think. It just really is. I'm just being blunt with you. It really, really is. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. And I love my favorite thing of the week is that the people in the caravan said, Brandon, if the government would give them each $50,000, they would all go back home. Could you imagine giving $50,000 out to 10,000 people? And let's just say they all went home. Yeah. Brandon, you think there are going to be a few more people running to the border?
Well, yeah. And $50,000 for people that are that poor. Can you imagine how far that would go?
Well, it would, but could you imagine us having to pay that, and then we would be held for ransom?
That's ridiculous.
We would be held for ransom for the rest of for the rest of the history of the country.
Man.
Matter
they
of fact,
need to worry about taking care of their own citizens first.
I'll tell you what you can do. You can offer everybody $20,000 that's here illegally that will go home and promise not to come back after we build a wall.
Sure.
Think about how cheap that would be. They're getting bigger benefits than that. Anybody here illegally, you have a chance to walk out with $20,000. By the way, our wall's built. We're getting your name. We're getting fingerprints and everything. And if you come back in here, you'll spend your whole life in jail. That may be the only thing we get to. But anyway, $50,000. How about that for reparations? A lot of that going on. Let's go. Scott, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Scott, how you doing?
Hey, doing good, Moon. You're talking about things being investigated. Remember the Planned Parenthood videos that showed the clinics
Yes, sir.
selling baby parts?
Yes, sir.
And no investigation ever came out of that. Now, they did investigate the reporters that broke the story, but they never investigated the clinic or brought any charges against them.
But now I'm going to say something that won't make you happy. My disappointment in that is with the Republicans. Republicans should have shut that down. Last time they passed the budget, they passed still funding Planned Parenthood. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's Republicans that are helping fund that, and that's what disappoints me. We don't ever stand up and go after the people. Like they're going after Trump. We don't go after the Clintons. We don't go after Comer. We don't go after Obama and his Justice Department. We let them beat on us. So I'm not surprised they didn't go after Planned Parenthood, but they should have. What they were doing was illegal. You can't sell body parts. They were doing it and loving it. And you are correct. Nobody ever went after them. But, boy, the person that brought it up, the guy that the people that went after it and showed this, they're the ones that got investigated. You're correct. That's bass backwards.
It is. It's too bad those reporters didn't make the cover of Time magazine for the, suppressed reporters that they keep talking about all the time.
Yeah, well, I don't think I ever want to make Time magazine either. It looks like Time magazine for idiots, and that's who they put on there. Anyway, appreciate the call, Scott. Thank you, bud. Let's move on. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Go to Ted in Lafayette. Mr. Ted, how you doing, sir?
Pretty good, Moon. How about you?
I'm doing fine. Good to hear from you.
Hey, man, thanks. Getting back to this border wall and all that, I've been thinking, and I, you know how you hear the stories about how another Democrat voter, and in my belief, the Democrats are kind of losing their base right now with their agenda. And the black vote was more or less leaning on, because they finally figured out how the Democratic Party suppresses them. Mm-hmm. So with the open borders and all that happening, if they get all these people in, because you know for a fact, I mean, look what happened in this last election with these with the recounts and everything, and if you have the influx of all these illegal people coming in, who's going to control how voting takes place? Because I was watching Tucker Carlson last night, and they were talking. This guy, really sharp guy, was on and talking about in California will never, ever be a red state ever again. Never.
I don't think it will either.
I think he says one in four. And then another point I want to make real quick: when Trump was sitting there with Schumer and Pelosi, I wish he'd have posed a question to them like, hey, is it the $5 billion? Is that the problem y'all are having from my border wall? And they say, yeah. He could have said, well, what about the $143 billion that y'all sent, you and Obama sent to Iran?
Yeah. Well, the problem is, though, if you really look at what Schumer and Pelosi were doing, they wanted to go meet privately. That's all they kept saying. We need to do this privately.
Oh, sure.
And that was a show for them. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, Democrats don't want to build a wall. They don't want to protect the country. But unfortunately, in the deep state, you got some Republicans that believe that as well. That's my frustration with them.
But it's deeper than that. I'm telling you, they don't want the wall because they'll have more voters, and that's what this is all about.
No, I agree with that. By the way, did you see what Ted Lieu, the Democrat from California, said on CNN? He said he would love to be able to regulate the content of free speech. He said if the only thing in his way is the First Amendment. This sounds like Barack Obama, who talked about the Constitution telling you what you can't do, but he won't tell you what you could do. These people hate. First of all, they hate Jesus Christ, but then secondly, they hate the Constitution. They really hate it. They want to do things in this country that was never meant to do. The Democrats do, and some Republicans, and that's the problem. You got people believing them. Man, when they believe people like this, that's the frustration to me.
Well, the thing is, people, everything is good. They get to go in their car and go to the mall and do all this stuff. But if they really think about the agenda that they're trying to put this country through, I'm talking about the younger people. They have it so good. If they would see what would happen if the Democrats would rule. I mean, just think if Trump would not have won.
Man, I tell you what, let me tell you something. With the way they beating up Trump, the next one you get, as bad as Obama was, and I'm convinced he was horrendous for this country, the next one could be worse than we've ever seen because people believe him. Well, they believe Barack Obama.
People need to keep voting Republican.
Yeah. Ted, I got to go. God bless. Have a great day. See you tomorrow, folks. Open Forum Friday.